Oui, l'Association des membres de la police montée du Québec est heureuse de supporter le MPAC dans les démarches pour la syndicalisation des membres de la GRC. Nous, on représente seulement que les membres au Québec et les francophones hors Québec. Et on est heureux de voir que le gouvernement a déposé un projet de loi pour finalement permettre aux membres de la GRC de se syndiquer et d'avoir un rapport qui est plus égal à égal avec la direction de la GRC et le gouvernement en place. C'est sûr qu'on a beaucoup de questions concernant ce qu'adresse le projet de loi et nous allons participer activement au comité parlementaire pour que le projet de loi soit quelque chose qui est très vivable pour les prochaines décennies à l'intérieur de la GRC. Nous sommes prêts à collaborer avec le gouvernement et nous voulons être des partenaires avec le gouvernement pour régler les problèmes qu'on a à l'heure actuelle dans la GRC d'une façon collaborative et incluant travailler avec la direction. On est ouvert aux questions. Fait que si vous avez des questions,
Je terminais. Vous avez mentionné, je pense qu'un de vos collègues a parlé du fait qu'on ne s'attaquait pas au problème du harcèlement. Il n'y avait rien dans le projet de loi qui parlait de ça.
Effectivement, c'est exclu.
Comment vous expliquez ça? Parce que ça fait les manchettes régulièrement dans les derniers mois.
C'est sûr que l'AMPMQ, en regardant de façon très sommaire le projet de loi, le fait que le gouvernement enlève de la négociation collective des affaires qui touchent la santé et sécurité des policiers, exemple les équipements, les façons de travailler et qui touchent aussi le harcèlement à l'intérieur de la GRC. Comme vous savez, le harcèlement fait partie des manchettes à l'intérieur de la GRC depuis plus d'une dizaine d'années. Et malgré les promesses que le commissaire a faites au gouvernement puis au peuple canadien, il n'a pas réussi à adresser la question de façon sérieuse. Et nous voulons travailler avec le commissaire justement pour établir des meilleures façons d'adresser les problèmes de harcèlement à l'intérieur. Et nous, on pense que ça devrait faire partie de la négociation au niveau des conventions collectives.
Comment est-ce que vous expliquez le fait que ce ne soit pas dans le projet de loi? Est-ce qu'on a voulu garder ça pour une autre étape ou parce que c'est un gouvernement qui s'est montré très sensible à toute la question de...
Il faut se référer, je pense, à C-42, qui est un projet de loi qui a été déposé en 2013, qui a modifié la loi sur la GRC et qui a donné des pouvoirs supplémentaires au commissaire. Et à l'intérieur de ce projet de loi-là, il y avait des pouvoirs au commissaire concernant certaines affaires que le commissaire avait à traiter de façon unilatérale, si on veut, et aussi adressait la façon que les griefs sont traités à l'interne. Lorsqu'il y a une plainte de harcèlement à l'heure actuelle, la plainte de harcèlement est traitée dans un processus quelconque et la décision finale de savoir si la plainte est enquêtée ou non, ou bien une fois qu'elle est enquêtée, de savoir s'il y avait effectivement du harcèlement ou non, sont sujets à des appels dans le système interne actuel. Puis je crois que c'est de là un peu qui découle le fait qu'ils ne veulent pas l'inclure dans la convention collective.
I have a question in English. I've never heard allegations that someone was too tough on harassment within the RCMP. Generally, it's not tough enough. So I'm wondering what your union would do to combat harassment, which is often member against member, not a management against a member. So how would that be dealt with within the union? And frankly, I don't see how the bill would address that.
Just bringing it to the light of day, bringing the subject or bringing the problem to the light of day would shed some kind of a solution. Right now, everything is being repressed within the RCMP and always dealt with internally. So by bringing it outside of the realm of control within the RCMP and throwing the light of day on it will help us to go a long way to finding a solution.
I was actually writing about this piece for today anyhow, but the two new streams for discipline that the commissioners instituted, conduct meetings and conduct boards, or hearings and meetings. It seems like they say that everything that goes to a conduct hearing is only if you could be fired. Any misconduct that is serious enough to be fired, you go to a hearing. But it seems to me, from what I've seen, everything else is being put into a conduct Like everything is going into a conduct hearing, which is completely secret. They just, like the former adjudication board process, you could get everything. Now everything is secret unless it's essentially a criminal code violation. What do you think of this, the fact everything is now being hidden in these conduct meetings?
Well, we did present at the parliamentary hearings on C-42, and this is a product of C-42 and the change in regulations that followed C-42. You're right, everything is done internally, and as you know, the media had court challenges on the closed conduct boards that used to exist, which were won, and they were opened up to the public. And it has to be, the more that the public knows about this, about what's going on within the RCMP as far as discipline is, the better we will be as a population, and the better we will be served by the RCMP. Maybe you want to add something?
Paul, if I could just add to that, I think it's very important that the media understand that currently everything stops at the commissioner. If you have any money left, the only outlet you have is the federal court. And I want a system that is certainly much more transparent. I want something that's going to be open. And I think you folks clearly want that as well. And that's what we're working towards.
On another thing, the commissioners brought in this member workplace services program to get rid of the SRR. I don't understand why they're getting rid of the SRR when there's just a 4-month delay here. But when it says here, SRR shall not, like the people on the transition team should not communicate with the media, Minister of Public Safety, Parliament, Senate, or the general public concerning any matters related to the RCMP. I mean, before at least we had the SRRs to talk to. Now there's nobody. What do you say?
Well, people that I've spoke with that were in the SRRP program said that this new members workplace services program is going to be worse. Again, you'll find in Bill C-42 under the Code of Conduct, I think it's Annex 1.
The regulations.
In the regulations that specifically refers that any serving RCMP member can't publicly talk about issues RCMP or government, thus me. And it's unfortunate, but you need to understand that the issues that have been in the RCMP were there when I joined in 1981. You're only learning about them now. And that's taken courage on the part of a lot of people to step forward into the light, to tell their stories, Janet Merlo being one. And our group does not want everything to end up in court, because it seems right now that's the only place where there's some type of accountability for what's going on. And if we have a collective agreement that lays out something much stronger than what policy is right now, which can be interpreted one way or another, if it's in the collective agreement, it will provide solid guideline as to how things must be done.
On the bill, I'd spoken to you previously about concerns you had regarding the Labor Relations Board aspect of it, and I'm wondering if you can elaborate on that a little more and just respond to the Minister's response to my inquiry about that, in terms of him saying that there's no other police union in the country that has their own separate board. So,
right, there was concerns in the consultation that took place with Mr. Alan Jolicoeur. The RCMP calls it extensive consultation. I would argue for something less than that. But anyway, during the consultative process, I believe it was 69% of RCMP members indicated that they wanted a board that would be separate from the public service, because that's what we're constantly being compared with as public servants. Even though we are, I think the more appropriate comparative group is police agencies across Canada. Therefore, that's what the survey indicated in Mr. Jolicoeur's survey. I understand the correspondence you received indicating that no other police agency or federal service has that type of independent representation, and it appears that it's going to be under the Public Service Labor Relations Board going forward. We have much more important issues to deal with. And the excluding of staffing, which I believe personally is the number one issue in the RCMP, is how chronically we're under-resourced, both in terms of boots on the ground and financial resources. That's where we need to focus our efforts in terms of getting those type of issues addressed through a collective agreement.
And just one more on that issue is just the fact that they're planning on adding 2 more members to the Labor Relations Board with police experience. Would that be enough of a compromise for you guys, or are you still looking for something a little more robust?
Much more robust.
Can you just lay out some of the other amendments you would like to see in the bill? The government says they are open to amendments, so I'm just wondering if you can give me a brief list of what those might be.
Ben?
I mean, I think I can comment. I mean, I think it's early. I think it's a fairly extensive bill, so at this point, there's only been a kind of general review to get a sense of what the bill's about. But certainly the most concerning elements are, and I think this goes a little bit to what you were speaking about, it's this exclusion from the negotiation process. It's that, and maybe just so that it's entirely clear, the significance of that is if you can't negotiate certain types of provisions into a collective agreement, then those are the provisions that can't be grieved and can't be sent to an independent arbitrator or adjudicator in the federal public sector. So that's the significance. So when the bill says that this list of issues cannot be negotiated, and that list includes discipline, it includes, as Paul was mentioning, it includes issues over anything to do with equipment or standards or professional standards. It includes harassment, which I think is a quite significant one. And all of that means that you cannot have a provision in your collective agreement that says that deals with the issue of harassment, and you cannot grieve that issue, and you cannot send it to an impartial external adjudicator to deal with that grievance. So I think those are the most significant issues that come out of kind of the initial review, and I'm sure there'll be other small issues, but certainly those exclusions from bargaining are the ones that we flagged as being far more extensive than other unions in the federal public sector, far more extensive than other police unions. They're really, I think, on a comparative scale, one of the longest lists of exclusions you'll be able to find. So that's a major concern.
The issue of putting injured officers under provincial workers' compensation have you got a comment on that? I think
that's one we'll have to, from a legal perspective at least, I think we'll have to look at that one a little bit more closely. Yeah.
And I guess last question is there are 5 sitting weeks before this thing comes to a deadline. You obviously have a lot you want to do in committee in terms of amendments and whatnot. I guess just talk about that 5-week time or sitting week time limit. What that means for you guys.
Well, I mean, certainly, I think, and maybe Ray or Rob can speak to this as well, or Paul. But certainly, I think MPAC's very willing to engage, and the bill's only been out for days now to review it. So I think it's at an early stage now, but I think MPAC's willing to engage with the government and with government committees as necessary, and other parties in Parliament to try to get constructive changes that will help improve the bill.
Agreed. What he said.
Yeah. If there's no more questions, I just want to end with a few comments. For all the members and for all Canadians that are looking at this and look at this press conference, this is your national police force. This is your national icon. And our commitment is to ensure that we transform it to make it better than it's ever been. And the time for being afraid, for the members that are watching, that may be watching this, that's over. You need to become part of this positive drive and this positive change to reform your national police force. Thank you.